We used to call Fred king of the crabgrass diggers. Then he dug Mustang 66. Mustang swept him out of the ordinary. Here in the cockpit, bucket seats, sporty steering wheel, 5-dial instrument cluster are standard. With Mustang options like front disc brakes, a stereosonic tape player, 289 cubic inch Cobra V8. Fred soared to new heights into the wild blue yonder of adventure. We call him Fred, ace of all aces now. Is there no stopping him? Not in any Mustang for 66.
Meet Bernie, the 1966 Ford Mustang owned by senior Zach Hittie and his father Bud. Bernie has been in the family for around 2 years and has received some major renovations from Zach and his dad.
We're going to start from the back forwards of the beast. Call him Bernie is what I named my car because it's funny. Bam! Dual exhaust. 1, 2. This is actually exhaust from a GT style 1966 Mustang, including this these backup lights and the whole paneling here. And as you can see, it doesn't say GT right there, so that's all aftermarket, because this is just a normal coupe, and we decided we're going to do whatever we want to it because it's not worth a crazy amount of money if we kept it original, since it's just a coupe and those were fairly common. So that actually increases value rather than takes it away.
You first start working on cars and motorcycles.
I first started working on cars and motorcycle, don't make me laugh, 2-ish years ago. Well, no, before that. But just like with repairs, I guess seriously started working on it to actually start like rebuilding and fabricating parts and building engines 2 years ago. Yeah. New tires and wheels that we got. They are the American Racing stock style. That goes from not just the coloring, but also the classic 5-wheel spoke. And then these are the radial Cobra tires that we're running on it. So they've got good traction, but then they're also pretty flat, so you can, do skids. And then these are all something that you would be able to get in 1966 from the dealer. The thing that inspired me to start working on cars and motorcycles. My dad always worked on them when he was in high school and college and pretty much onwards. And I guess I wanted to know kind of the stuff that he knew so that I wasn't lost in the conversations. And I don't know, it was just something that interested me. Going fast, being able to build something that could go fast by yourself. Kind of bragging rights almost. Okay. I bonded with my father through this, kind of through the whole process of rebuilding the car that we bought together. He already knew a lot about that specific car and engine because he had one in high school. So he taught me a lot about not just general knowledge about cars, but more specific and in-depth things. Things like repairing carburetors, to putting on new drum brakes, to putting in new master cylinders. So he just taught me a lot, and I learned a lot through him. Okay, so this is the interior of the car. All new carpeting. Redid the seats in the back, so that's all new leather. The seats in the front, we've got the leather, haven't upholstered it yet. This whole dash area, that's new. Steering wheel, that's new. Actually, put in a tachometer just because we can. It's an automatic car, so you don't really need a tach, but they look cool. We got the original Cruise-O-Matic 4-speed automatic transmission. But you know, before this was just some like sticking out, so we have the factory kind of looking shifter. Everything in here is how it would appear originally in 1966, which means no radio, no air conditioning, no heat, obviously no airbags, but we did put in seat belts. They're actually racing harnesses because those look cool. And yeah, the door, everything from like the door panels, like right here, all this was not there, so it was just exposed metal here. Had to actually put locks in the car because the car didn't actually have locks when we got it. Replaced a couple of these windows because they were either cracked or just replaced with plexiglass, which looked goofy. Even like the little things like these emblems here, that would all appear in the factory original car, and that was all. So this is the engine after about 2 years of owning it. Before we got it, it didn't look nearly this nice. Right here, this was the first thing we replaced. This is the power steering pump. Power steering is pretty important in a car that's 100% made of steel, so it's really heavy. And driving it without power steering was interesting to say the least, and also very scary, especially if you were going fast. Second thing to be replaced, well, actually at the same time, the battery, the radiator, and then the engine fan right here. That's this bit, engine fan. That's what cools the engine as it's going, along with the radiator. Because when we first got it, we did not check to see if the battery was strapped in, which was a dumb thing to do because it wasn't. So while I was resetting the drum brakes, which to do that on these old cars, it's simple and effective and a bit rudimentary. What you do is you just put it in reverse, slam on the pedal, and then you slam on the gas, or slam on the gas and then you slam on the brakes, and it resets the drum brakes. So I did that, heard a giant clunk in the engine bay, then all of a sudden there was a bunch of steam and a horrible noise. So the old battery actually ended up moving, hitting the old fan, which then bent from like this to this, which then tore a hole in the old radiator, which actually leaked a lot of antifreeze all over the place. So I gunned it back here as quickly as possible. First thing I did, of course, was get rid of any evidence of the crime. So I took the cement cleaner and just kind of cleaned off the driveway, and so the trail of antifreeze just stopped somewhere over at that corner, not leading back to my house. Then it was just a matter of taking out the radiator, which is fairly simple. Once that's out, taking this fan off is easy enough. We already had a new battery for it, so I had to put that in. But then we had to go and order a brand new radiator, which is fine because this is like an aluminum racing radiator, so it actually works a lot better, so the car doesn't overheat at all anymore, which is a common problem in these older cars.
Aside from working on the Mustang, Zach also recently began his own personal project, a 1975 Honda motorcycle.
This is my 1975 Honda CB550 Super Sport. Doesn't look super sporty at the moment, but it will once I'm done with it, and I'm sure it did new. So the things that you see when working on vintage motorcycles, the electrical looks like a rat's nest. I personally cleaned out like 3 actual rat's nests from the bike. There was one in the old air filter, which is one of the first things to go because it smelled nasty. So overall, this old seat, this is the original seat, but it's gonna go. It's actually not even attached. I actually cut the frame right here because I'm putting on a much shorter and lower seat because it'll make the whole look of the bike different. I'll probably just sell this. In here, I don't know, that's not important, just a bunch of electrical. I mean, it's important to me, but it's not important for most people. Bunch of electrical, gas tank. Had to clean this because it was all filled with rust. That was interesting doing that. You actually just fill it with apple cider vinegar, and that actually acts as like a chemical breakdown to the rust. So far, I've cleaned it all 100 times. Put on all new exhaust system, which actually goes out to this side, so you won't be able to see it. Have these new handlebars on. The old ones were kind of clunky, went out to here. This is just the literal metal. All the bits I need for this are in a bucket somewhere. The most rewarding part after I've finished part of the project on either the car or the motorcycle, two things. First is like the sense of satisfaction that you get knowing that you are the sole reason that the thing in front of you is working the way it is. And the second thing that is most rewarding about is you get to actually start using like the material. So once you actually get the car running, you can actually drive it, which seems obvious, but that's just a fun part.